2, I think when we looked at the data, we said there were several kids that missed it, right? So there's definitely a gap. So we have to talk about if it's instructional or learning. So what do you think for 2? I know my gut's telling me it's learning.
It's definitely learning. They just struggle with that box in the middle.
What could it be? Both.
13. That's the
13.
out of, I don't know how many kids you guys have to combine.
Right. Well, it's
Instructional, you're thinking just because
43.
we haven't, you teach this more than,
right. I don't think we've really keyed in on missing number yet.
I agree.
And they really need
I think that will come more as we go further in the year.
with exposure.
Right.
So we're going to put.
I think it could be both, yeah.
I think it could too. So instructionally, let's do it as 2. Let's put down both of our ideas. So for instructional, it's just that we're not there yet, right?
It will come the further into the year we get.
Okay, so we need time for exposure. And
Right.
then for learning, it's definitely the exposure. You know, we want to make sure that they are good with the facts the way that they normally see them before you change it up.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of seeing this a different way.
Okay. If learning gap was observed, how important is the skill or concept? I think it's huge.
It's very important.
it's huge. And then
A lot of times with this is kids won't go back in and say, okay, does 5 plus 14 equal 9?
Right.
They won't do that.
Right. They need to learn.
They
to
just
do
won't
the
take
check.
that time.
So.
Sounds instructional a little bit too, because
Yeah.
you're modeling that.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna go back and even write the word model just because that stuck with me. All right. So the prominence of it, how widespread. Speculate as to how widespread this gap is with all the students. It's I think 13 out of
43, I think, is what I calculated.
that's significant.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
yeah,
like
it
a
obviously
third.
needs to be hit and taught. Yeah, there's no doubt. 13 kids is significant.
Absolutely. And they're going to have to know this. I mean, this is definitely what they're going to hear in later on as like word problems.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to figure out this missing piece.
Well,
And we're even
this is
getting
algebra.
it a little bit, but it's just they haven't had enough exposure.
No, and this is on NWA, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure. All right. Okay. So we know that you're going to get it a little, as time goes on, but we have to focus on hitting that, especially during those success times.
That's 25.
It's 25.
Mm-hmm.
13 out of 43 is
Oh,
25.
I divided.
Wow.
26.
I mean, I was thinking 15 out of 45.
I might be wrong.
That's okay. I'm okay
Oh, wait,
with
I
it.
am wrong. I didn't subtract correctly.
26.
7.
Yeah, 25 would be
Sorry.
50 out of 52.
21%. Does that sound right?
Nope.
No,
I
it
think
can't
you
be.
went the wrong direction, miss.
43 divided by 13, right? No, 13 divided by 43.
We know it's
I'm
significant.
okay with it.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm good with it. So let's look at number 3. I bet
Yep.
number 3, I bet it's,
I got more God.
I do too, because it's
Right.
just traditional.
Yep.
This minus this equals this.
Right.
There aren't any mixed up spots. So let's look at the data.
Is there a way to pull down or?
Mm-hmm.
Number 3.
Which one are you looking for? 3?
Number
Yeah.
3. 1,
Okay, let's go
2,
back up.
3, 4, 5.
I bet there's not 13.
2.
Well, because this
But
is.
still 8 is
3,
what I'm seeing.
4, 5.
Did we take this when we were doing subtraction and go math? I don't remember. I don't remember if we had started this
I think
or not.
it was brand new.
Yeah.
I think that what we had already taught was this. Use the picture, show it as your proof,
Right.
have it make sense.
Yeah.
The thing is that it would have been nice if they would have carried this down to here. And I think, I don't think that I saw really look at that kid
Some of them
did
did.
it. But it would have been nice to carry that strategy
Right.
down. So,
How many missed
did
it?
you get what, 8 or 9?
8.
8.
And that's a new concept and only 8 missed it? I would go back and ask myself how I was teaching that then. I mean, that's not, it's significant, but you're still in a reteaching place.
Right. Yes.
So how did you teach that? Go ahead and finish your protocol. I'm sorry I interrupted. I get so excited. Like,
Okay, so number 3, we're saying 8 missed out of 43.
Right.
So, subtraction itself is pretty new. I know they hit it in kindergarten, but I think 5 is the top number for them. So this is new. I don't know. How do you want to say? So is the 8 that missed it? It seems like that would be a learning gap because obviously it was instructionally it was taught pretty well.
Higher, yeah, I think so too.
So
I mean,
let's put
obviously.
learning.
Emma, Eric, Wesley, Marcus, Alexandra, Haley, Robert, Braylon.
Oh. But we don't want to talk about students, do we?
you can. I mean, I think you just hit on something pretty important. Who missed it?
I'm
Yeah.
like,
Based on your.
is this it's okay to start saying, well, these students.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because when you go, oh, then that means what?
The light bulb came on, didn't it?
Yeah, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
read those names again.
Yeah,
please.
can you go over that again?
Braylon,
Yeah,
Robert,
yeah,
Haley,
yes.
Wesley.
Huh.
Mm.
Oh, wait a minute, I'm wrong. Yes, I am. No. Okay, Wesley, Eric,
Hmm.
Emma.
Okay, is that it?
So
That's a lot of the students that
just based on
struggle.
your reaction, you
Mhm.
have a learning gap of a very specific group of kiddos that have
Yes.
been identified
Right.
in different ways for
Right.
different reasons.
Right. 2 of those are labeled special ed. 2 of those are at least 2 of those are in RTI. 1 I think is focus /
Right.
attendance
Yes,
Mhm.
I agree.
problem. And then.
So
yeah.
you could think about how that review looks for them in your small group, which is immediately
Right.
talk about how your brain's already doing that.
Well, definitely we need to pass this information
Mhm.
to
Right.
Penny. And we really need to focus with, looks like part of those kids are already being pulled for the intervention. So we really need to focus on making sure we get that piece of data right away to them. And then it really leaves, I think, maybe 3 that are not pulled out for very, very small group time. And we have to hit those. I think they could even just be pulled. I think that just the 2 that are in my class, it would be really easy to pull them aside and say, hey, look, this is subtraction, but here you did this.
Use a picture.
You can do this.
You know
Yes,
what I
I
noticed?
agree.
I don't know, but we talked about number 2 being like a harder concept for them.
Yes.
Most of them got number 2, but missed number 3.
Those kids are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Eric got it, Emma got it, Wesley did not. Alexandra did. Haley did not. Robert did.
We've gone over this quite a bit in my class, but I just don't know I don't remember if we did before we
Before the.
took the CFA. I'm not sure.
I just find that really interesting.
That is, because that's a much harder problem, I think, than that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you explain that, honestly. I don't know.
Right, so as we move across relative significance, how important is a skill or concept?
It's a stand, I mean.
It's a foundation.
Yeah,
It's-
it's.
Yeah, we have to know this. Right.
Subtraction, you're gonna do all through your math, so yeah.
Speculate as to how widespread this gap is with all students. It's not
Mm-mm.
widespread, so that basically we're going to have to really focus in on the support people and then just pull or even just do another quick check with those kids, because I
Right.
bet even since we did this, the exposure they've had just in this smaller amount of time,
They would
I
get
bet
it.
it has really changed.
Right.
So it's small, but let me put over here intervention.
So there was a little bit different group of kids in this one that missed
I
it
can go back
than
and
this
look.
one.
An additional.
Elena, Wesley, but Wesley had zeros across the board, so. Well, Karen.
Cassidy. Second, maybe
You have the opportunity to use Sandra with Karen a little bit.
Thank
Logan,
you. No wonder
Kristen.
I'm in the wrong.
Yeah, item 2.
Okay. Elena.
Right, it shifts.
It
somehow.
does. Wesley, Braden, Marcus, Logan, Christian, Haley, Michelle, Cassidy, Karen, Jadarius, Braylon. So yeah, definitely some different names.
What's that? I don't remember.
I think it's definitely a different group from 2 to 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so unusual that
Were you,
they would
what
get
were you
2
gonna
but
say?
not 3. Go ahead, yeah.
I was just trying to, who's